Beneath the shadow of Dudley Castle, in a valley most people barely notice, lies a place shaped by nearly 900 years of human life. Today, it is quiet. Grass grows where walls once stood. Stone curves hint at rooms that no longer exist. But this ground remembers. It remembers voices raised before dawn. It remembers footsteps in candlelight. It remembers power, fear, devotion, and loss. This is the story of St James's Priory, Dudley. And this is where it begins. The Valley. The valley beneath Dudley Castle was never empty. Long before factories, before roads, before parks, water flowed here. 3 streams cutting down from the ridge above, pooling into damp ground and shallow ponds. It was poor farmland, too wet, too uneven. But for monks, this was perfect. Water meant life. Water meant fish. Water meant survival. And it was here, on a slight rise between those streams, that a decision was made. A decision that would echo across centuries. Above the valley stood Dudley Castle, a symbol of Norman power. Its story began with conquest. After 1066, the land was granted to Ansculf of Piquigny, a follower of William the Conqueror. From earth and timber, a fortress rose, then stone, anchoring control over the region. The castle watched everything below it, and one man, its lord, would decide the fate of the valley beneath. His name was Gervase Paganel, a baron, a lord of Dudley, a man of ambition and contradiction. Gervase lived in turbulent times. England was fractured by civil war. Loyalties shifted. Kings fell in and out of favor. Gervase chose rebellion. He stood against King Henry II. The punishment was swift. Dudley Castle was slighted, its defenses torn down. Power had limits, and like many men of his age, Gervase turned toward the church, not only for salvation, but for memory. Stone castles could fall, names could fade, but prayers, spoken daily, might last forever. Gervase decided to found a priory. Not a grand abbey, not a center of wealth or power, but a small Cluniac house, bound to a great monastic network stretching across Europe. A place where prayers would be said daily for his soul, and for Dudley itself. He gave land. He gave rights to quarry stone and cut timber. He gave churches, tithes, and income. And he gave the valley below his castle a new purpose. They did not arrive in crowds. There were no bells, no celebration. Just 3 men. Osbert, the first prior, and 2 monks, Robert and Hugh. They came from the Cluniac tradition, a reform movement that prized discipline, prayer, and ritual. Their task was immense. They had to build, they had to pray, and they had to transform a damp valley into a place of devotion. Stone by stone, they began. The church they built was simple. A cruciform plan, thick limestone walls, narrow windows. At the eastern end, a curved apse, home to the altar. It was dedicated to St James. The walls inside were plastered and painted. Colour filled the stone. Saints watched from the shadows, and above the crossing, a bell would one day call the monks to prayer. Life at the priory followed a strict rhythm. Between 2 and 3 in the morning, a bell rang out across the valley. Half asleep, wrapped in heavy habits, the monks descended a narrow stair hidden within the walls. The night stair. They entered the church in silence. Candles flickered, and voices rose into the darkness. They believed prayer held the world together. that repetition created meaning, that memory, spoken daily, could defeat death itself. This was only the beginning. The priory would grow, powerful families would claim it, tombs would be built beneath its floor, war would come, kings would interfere, and the valley would be transformed again and again. In the next chapter, we follow the man who founded this place and the cost of rebellion. This is Voices in the Stone, and this was the valley beneath the castle.